welcome. I am so glad you are here. I'm Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, and I founded Warrior Moms by Bren when my son was medically injured at 22 months of age. We, the last 12 plus years, we have walked through hell. Now we walk through it like we own the place and take water back to those still in the fire. Now, what do I mean? I have a story. You have a story. Think of that one thing that you thought you would never make it through, and here you are. It's a speed bump in the rearview mirror. It's no longer Mount Everest. You are resilient, and we have such an amazing guest tonight, but I don't want to steal her thunder. My name is Bren. I have a book coming out at the end in August, at the end of the summer, and I would love for you to be part of that journey. Please check out the socials, Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom on Facebook, and At One with Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom on Instagram. Now we are streaming across multiple platforms. Please let us know in the chat where you're chiming in from. If you threw a dart right at the US, I'm in the middle, Oklahoma, and the weather has been crazy. Oh my gosh. I keep thinking, how much more rain can we get? Or Noah's Ark might be floating down my street next time it rains. We're thankful for the rain. We're just drowning. So if you let us know where you're chiming in from and let us know what your weather's like. And we love seeing where everybody is. We've got Georgia in the house, Seattle in the house. Oh, Oklahoma in the house. That's just Tulsa's just down the way. I am so excited. Now, if I feel like yes, Oklahoma is a crazy place. Our weather forgets to take its meds. And for those of you who may just be joining us, please let us chime in. Strong Island, New York. I love it. Florida in the house. Another Seattle. Great to see you guys. I am so excited. Illinois in the house. We are here to lock arms and to share a little bit of our story and our hearts so that you can see it in the flesh in action, that together we're stronger. Now, why did I start the Warrior Mom? Well, I'm going to show you two quick pics, how it started and how it's going, because my son is now a 6'1" teen with a very low voice. And we have really fought for services, fought for special accommodations at school, fought for everything that he has received. And we're still learning that there's a lot of assistance out there that we never even knew about. And it isn't based on income. So Wayback Machine, come with me. Okay. Warrior Mom. The first picture of the Warrior Mom working, holding the tiny little baby with the computer at the dining room table. When my son was born in Japan. When we moved back to the US, we stayed with my father-in-law, and his house was constructed in the late 70s, and it's never been changed. And we are it's so funny now that we are cleaning out his estate, we're finding all kinds of gems. And that was one of the pictures we found. Now, fast forward to today in 2025. And hey guys, if you're just joining us, please let us know in the chat where you're chiming in from, because we believe community makes us stronger. Now, this is my son today, one of the many medical trips we've taken out of state. And he is absolutely towers over me. Now, you notice he has the ear protection on. He is diagnosed on the autism spectrum. In our home, we do not have a diagnosis, and that qualifies us for services. Now, theoretically, lifelong care. Now, we have blown all the restrictions out of the water. He would never do this or never do that. And he's like, watch me. And I'm so excited because now, and he's a great road tripper. So we love to do short weekend trips and get to meet other people that are embracing the Warrior Nation lifestyle, which is we don't take no for an answer. And we do not have something. We have a diagnosis of something. All right. So, and my mission in life is to help women take back their freedom, clarity, and power. And I think you're really going to love this guest we have tonight. Oh, hey guys, we got another Florida in the house, Texas in the house. Great to see you guys. Midwest City, weather's good now, but we had some storms. Yes, we sure did. Just so you know, in Oklahoma, a thunderstorm just pops up out of nowhere, and the Bucks tables, those really heavy iron ones, were on their side. I mean, it was sunny and beautiful, and then it was stormed, and then it was gone. And it's just so because isn't that kind of like life? We're going, we're moving and grooving and checking everything off our list, and then boom, life knocks us down. And what happens when we don't get up? How many people that we are called to help that don't get the help we can offer because we've let a setback or a rejection knock us down and keep us there? Nope. Fall 7, get up 8. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I am so excited. Hey guys, good to see you. 90 in Florida, Dallas, Texas. Good to see you. I am so excited that you guys are here. We have another Seattle and an Oregon. Oh, great to see you guys. And what I want you to know is that if you have ever been laid off from a corporate job, if you have ever lost the love of your life that you thought was the love of your life, that closed door went, it slammed right in your face. And then you realize that wasn't a rejection, that was a redirection. And that's what our guest tonight is amazing. And I will let her share with you. Now, stay till the end because we're going to do a special announcement at the end. All right. So hang tight. Hey, Connie, did you make the live?
It.
Great to see you. Can you share with our audience a little bit about what your mission is?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and I'm the host of the Connie Korblich podcast. And I help women rise from rejection, layoffs, and feeling invisible into careers where they are finally seen and valued and boldly reinvented in that unicorn resilience.
Oh, love it. Now let's dial back a little bit. I love what you're doing. I love your purpose and I love your enthusiasm. And what I would like to know is, who is Connie Korblich?
Well, I am a dog mom and I am bold and strong and a woman who really is the definition of courage. You know, courage is defined as the strength in the face of grief or pain. And really, that has been the only choice I have had.
Oh, that is so powerful. Now, I know we're just, scratching the surface here. I know that you have such a mission on your heart through the curveballs that life has thrown. Can you start where you're comfortable and share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to jump back to my early years. You know, my
Okay.
father is retired Air Force, and as an armed force member, as a family member of an armed force member, you are constantly moving. So I constantly had to establish new relationships, and starting over was overwhelming at times. But as a child, I had to embrace that change, that constant uprooting and that constant change. And it really taught me to embrace change rather than fear it. And I look back now, but then I was building the resilience in my life necessary for the path that I would eventually walk, for the stories I tell today.
Mm. Well, thank you and your family for your service.
Yeah.
We are also a retired military family, and that is not an easy road. And we're so thankful to everyone who has served to keep our country the way it is.
Yeah.
And
You know,
huge blessing.
it doesn't stop there. Um, at 17, I was diagnosed with symptoms of multiple sclerosis, which, for those who may not know, that is an autoimmune disease that affects the nervous system, the spinal cord,
Mm.
and the brain. And so that, being a teenager, affected my life. It turned me upside down. I went from being an active tennis player and cheerleader to, hey, my doctor said you can swim. Well, at the time, I hated swimming. And it just felt like everything that I enjoyed in my life was being ripped away from me. And, MS symptoms show up unexpectedly. For a lot of people, it comes and it goes. And as I went into the workplace and in the workforce and in school, I would never know when an exacerbation would come on, or my, dull pain would turn into something that would just stop me in my tracks. And so trying to have a normal life and be a normal college student and normal in the workplace was not something that I could actually do. I required accommodation. But in school, on the front side, I looked normal, but I would be ridiculed for, special elevator access or special classes that were on the first floor.
Mm.
And that was painful because no one knew what I was really walking through and the pain I had to do just to be normal and do things that everyone else could do. My first job in corporate was really for a telecom company. And I was 21 years old, and that required 8-10 hour shifts on my feet. Meanwhile, my legs, my arms might be in extreme pain. And so I'd come to work in, my tennis shoes, and that was a signal that, hey, I'm not my best today, but I'm here. And I'd get, well, why do you have a special dress code? Why are you like special? What makes you get to do that? We're in our dress shoes. And it was really hard. It was just like I wanted to tell them, but honestly, I didn't want to tell them. I just wanted a level playing field. I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted my work ethic and who I was and my values to really set my reputation, not a label. I wanted a fair playing field and respect. That was it.
Mhm.
So in those moments, I didn't let MS define me. I used it as fuel to prove my strength and to prove my worth to organizations over and over again.
Wow. And that's why this is called Women of Courage series.
Yes.
It is just amazing. Well, can you real quickly, the question that popped in my head is, what was life like before you had symptoms? I mean, we're talking teenage years. We're still developing. We're still discovering who we are. Before you had symptoms, and then after, when it was, oh, this is something serious.
I was very active. I loved extracurricular things, being outdoors. I was not the prissy girl growing up. I was outside with the boys, climbing trees, fishing, making mud pies. Getting up through grade school, I made friends easily. I was always like the favorite of the teachers. I was just very active and very responsible too, I guess, as a young adult and as a child. I know my parents could tell stories that, oh, she was doing her laundry and dishes and helping at 4 and 5 years old. And I mean, 6 years old, just being the daughter of a military family, you live in a home that's very structured,
Mhm.
just from the military background. And, we moved a lot. And so I had to be agile and flexible and really be able to make friends easily and to talk to strangers and strike up
Mhm.
conversations with anybody. And that gave me the personality that I have today.
Amazing. And you were about 14 or 15 when
I
the
was
symptoms showed?
17 years old. Yeah. So not quite a full driver's license, but on that learner's permit. And all of
Right.
a sudden, like, oh, I'm not driving myself anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And did
Go ahead.
this present suddenly?
It
Or were
did.
there symptoms that you just oh, I'll just ignore that. It'll go away.
No, it was sudden. There's two instances that really stick out in my mind, and I was returning home from some Saturday errands with my family, and at the time we lived in an apartment complex, and I was going up the stairs, probably 25 stairs or so, and halfway up, I got this excruciating, intense pain in both my legs, and the only way I can describe it is a blood pressure cuff, like when you get your blood pressure
Mhm.
taken and it tightens up. That very last, like very tight setting is what both my legs felt like. And I tried to move them, but I just couldn't. They would not move. I could not lift my legs. And so I wanted to take the step, but I physically could not. My dad picked me up kind of almost like a husband and wife would, kind of over the threshold, like pick me
Mhm.
up by my legs, and just that movement just gave me excruciating pain. And so the whole Tylenol and stuff, hey, we're not sure what's happening. I just took a bunch of meds and tried to rest, and I seemed to feel better within, I think, 2 days or so. And so, we put it in the back of the mind, okay, that's odd. We're not sure exactly what happened. We'll follow up with
Mhm.
primary care. Before I could follow up with a primary care physician, my left arm locked up in like a swaddle position. I don't know if I had something in my hand. I can't quite recall, but it just froze, same as my legs. And that ended up being an ER visit. And they gave me a shot in my arm and said she needs to follow up with a neurologist. And from there, I became the mystery because I was checking off all these symptoms. But of course, with multiple sclerosis, they really try and spinal taps, and they'll look at your brain, and they're looking for tumors, they're looking for lesions, they're looking for something that's
Mm-hmm.
causing it. And I didn't have any of those, but I had all the symptoms presenting.
Wow.
So my neurologist at the time just chose to treat me as an MS patient, despite not having the textbook diagnosis. So I had pills and more pills and side effects of this and side effects of that. And it was just
Mm.
overwhelming,
Yeah.
just turning my life upside down, being active, to all of a sudden you have to chart what you're doing and your activities, and even working. Hey, I had a 10-hour shift today and I ate this and that. And I had all these special things, extra breaks I had to do, or had a longer lunch. And
Mm-hmm.
I would get teased and ridiculed for these special accommodations from my employers. And
Wow.
that was so painful. Just the hurt and feeling rejected against my peers, where I'm just trying to work alongside them and work best and put my best foot forward with each organization, because I knew any job I've gone into, I go in being the face of the company. I know that every interaction I have is going to propel that customer's experience. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to build those relationships, really be that forefront of the company. So when I'm staying along my peers, and it's like trying not to have, try not to feel some type of way because someone's called you names or all of that. But anyway, I'm kind of rumbling off on a tangent here. So I apologize for that. I just wanted to be like everyone else and have that level playing field, and just let my work ethic and the values and skill sets that I brought really present who I was and build my reputation.
Well, your work ethic speaks for itself. And I just want you to know in the comments, Connie, you're fantastic. You're amazing. Your work ethic is amazing. Equity, equity, equity. So know that everything you've been through culminates into the person you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
one of the things I wanted to talk about while battling a chronic illness and dealing with discrimination or teasing from peers, um, you've been through not one, but at least two layoffs in your career.
yes, yeah. As a millennial, 37% of millennials under the age of 40 have been laid off at least twice in their career. And it kind of speaks to the workforce that we have and that we're presented with in economic downturns and stuff. So when I worked for the telecom company, they decided to kind of restructure, and nationwide 2,200 individuals that held the same role I had lost their jobs. We were notified in July of 2013 that the layoff would occur in January of 2014. Knowing you're going to be laid off is horrible. You're thinking, okay, well, I still have to come to work in this period and put my best foot forward, and do the job until this severance, if I want the severance package. And that environment just became a pivotal moment, because here I am facing a mass layoff, and the environment became very toxic.
Mm,
And I made a tough decision to walk away from before that layoff could fully occur in September 2013.
mhm,
I did something I've never done in my entire career, and I quit on the spot. No 2 weeks notice, no nothing. I
mhm,
just sent an email and walked out the door.
mhm,
But that moment is where I chose self-preservation. I chose my mental health over a severance check that, if I'd have
mhm,
stayed, I would have received and might have helped me find or stay on my feet. But that decision was my first step in reclaiming my worth, and knowing that no title or anything lack thereof would really define who I was.
mm. Oh,
Um, I'd land on my feet in another industry, mortgage litigation, and I really had success there. I was one of the top performers of a team of 13. And as we closed our files, we received bonuses. So those bonuses were my motivation to be a top performer. I
mhm,
wanted that extra money in my
yeah.
pocket. But economic downturns in 2008, the Great Recession, as it's been named, one of the large banks, Fortune probably 100 company, restructured, just giving the recession and things. And so I was a contract worker for that bank, and they brought everything in house. So I had only been there for 8 months when that notification was given. And so I I was just like, Connie, how are you so naive? Like, how are you such a fool that you just left an organization that was laying you off, only to get into a brand new industry that you had no experience in prior? And then now here it is 8 months and you're about to be laid off again.
Oh.
But as a top performer, I know I was given like 60 more days to help close out our files. And so I was, eternally grateful for that. Um, but I really hit rock bottom after that layoff.
Mhm.
It was unfortunate timing, but I had given a notice on a lease that I was not going to renew it. I had put a deposit down on a new apartment saying, hey, we're going to move here. And then I got that layoff notification. And I was like, well, now without my income, we can't afford that apartment. So
Mhm.
um, I'm looking at my husband going, we're about to be homeless. Like, where are we going to go? Like, where's our next meal coming from? How are we going to pay our car payments? Like, I had student loans. Where is this money going to come from? And I just felt so awful. I'm like, I was, top of my class, valedictorian. I had a college degree. And here I might be about to be living in my car. I was, I don't even have words for just ripped of an identity. I had
Mhm.
put, my job in telecom and my job in mortgage litigation, they were my life. I put my all and my everything into that. And so, following that, I had such guilt and shame because I had built myself for this successful life that had been stripped away from me. I had done everything right. Get the good job,
Mhm.
go to school, get the
Mhm.
good grades, be the best you can be, put your best foot forward every day. I'd sacrifice long hours in the office, the first one there, the last one to leave, that one
Mhm.
extra phone call to that customer. And I just lost everything. And I had to, in those moments, say, I'm not going to give up. I swallowed my pride actually because I had a lot of hurt and hate and resentment.
Mhm.
And I went back to the telecom company that had previously laid me off. And I I kind of harbored it, but I knew that this was a temporary stepping stone, that if
Mhm.
I would just do that until I could find something more fulfilling. And I relied on my network of individuals, people I knew, to kind of bounce back into other roles. And I landed a job in customer service. I worked my way up into management and really thrived in that role. I absolutely loved it, only to be in another environment where there was some financial strain on the organization
Mhm.
and management got very toxic. And I was like, oh my gosh, here you go again, Connie. You're stepping backward. You're not moving forward. How are you such a fool? But the struggle of trying to rebuild after so many setbacks left me doubting my worth and questioning my path. Like, is this really how you keep repeating history? Like, what lesson are you not learning?
Mhm.
And I'd shift gears and land another job from networking in an e-commerce company and focus on things that I could control. And when I did, I put my best foot forward doing meaningful work, building relationships, and just working to support that growth. And this is the phase where I learned that success wasn't by titles or paychecks. It was by the
Mhm.
difference you make in the lives of other individuals every day. And that is so fulfilling to be able to really build other individuals and say, hey, I see you, I've been you, I am you.
Mhm. Oh, that's beautiful. Now, I know that you are doing new things all the time and you have some events coming up. Can you let us know what that is?
Well, I do have a podcast every Saturday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I am currently working on a memoir as well. Slowly got a manuscript going just on my perspective and the setbacks in my life. And
Oh,
let's see, what else?
socials.
Yes. So Facebook at Constance.Fred, at Instagram at Connie Korblick, and YouTube at Connie Korblick as well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story and encouraging others along the way.
Yeah. I'm living proof that it's possible to reinvent yourself and really rise after every fall.
Beautiful. Thank you, Connie.
You bet.
Guys, I hope you caught that. We've gone from meaningful work, not just a paycheck, but meaningful work. Who are you called to help? Now, if you got value, put value in the comments. If you're on the live, put an L. If you're on the replay, put an R. We learn American Sign Language. That's how we learn new words here at our house. And I find that we all have a story, and there's threads of hope in each of them. Now, I giggled with her when she was telling the story because I've seen her land on her feet. I mean, what an inspiration. Battling chronic illness, learning to live with the rejection of layoffs, then letting that help us become stronger, because nobody's story is a Cinderella Pollyanna. It doesn't matter what social media tries to make us believe. That's just the highlight reel. The right now and nasty in the day-to-day habit stacking, showing up, being in pain and putting on a smile and getting the job done anyway. We are here to let you know that this is your home, the Warrior Nation. We have people that are just incredible human beings. And it's not about titles, and it's do what you love, the money follows. And I'm living proof of this. And I'm certain Connie would agree. We have a lot going on. And I want you to check the socials, check out all three of Connie's social that she mentioned. Also, Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, on Facebook, and at Win with Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, on Instagram. I want you to be part of the project that we're doing and the work that we're doing in the lives that we're changing. I'm Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, and the Warrior Nation, your source for truth, transparency, and trust. Warriors, unite.